greyhound. His racing name is Superior Roscoe, and we went to an organization called GPA Louisville, and they go and get dogs from mostly West Virginia. At least that's where we got him from. So he came from a track in West Virginia. We got him in October, and it was a foster at first because we wanted to see how he would do since this was our first dog. So we wanted to make sure, everything was good and that we liked him and that he liked us. So we fostered him for about a month, I'm pretty sure. And we decided that he was a perfect fit for us. At the racetrack, he raced about 140 times. And since he had such a successful career, he was an older dog, so he was 4.
We work with the coordinator at the track. She works with various option groups and our greyhound adoption groups, and ours is one of those. And they know the dogs. She sees them all the time. She's in the kennel and so on, and they kind of know their personality. Depending on what the applicant wants, some prefer a girl, some prefer a boy. Some want a certain age, some don't care. So depending on what the applicant requests are, we'll bring in a boy and a girl, or 2 boys and 2 girls. Generally, we like to get them at the age of 2 and on up. And the goal is to make sure that every greyhound, retired racing greyhound, gets adopted. Once their career has ended and they're retiring, and some of them don't even make the racing circuit for whatever reason, they're either not into chasing the mechanical rabbit, or they're not focused enough, or they just have their own personalities and their reasons. Not all greyhounds, will go after that silly mechanical rabbit. And so the goal is to make sure that all retired racing greyhounds, or those that did not make the racing circuit for whatever reason, is to find them good forever homes and families.
Well, obviously when we first got him, the first night he was, pretty stressed out. It's a big change from the same and controlled environment of the racetrack to a completely different environment of a home. He was never in a house before. He never had so much to roam, so we did control the room that he was allowed to go in. That's also an aspect that you have to consider is potty training. Obviously that's something that you're gonna have to deal with if you get a dog from the track, because they are not used to being in a home. But since they are not puppies and since they're older, it's very simple. It only takes a couple days for them to realize that, okay, we're not going to go in here.
Fostering is a very important part of any greyhound adoption group, because the fosters play a huge role in getting the babies ready to go into a home. And the more successful the foster is with that greyhound, teaching them, housebreaking them is first and foremost, and then teaching them not to pull things off of the counter, or not to get on the countertops or anything like that. It really makes it easier whenever the new adopter gets the greyhound. It's easier for them to acclimate, and then it lessens our chance of getting any of them returned.
So some of the things that we encountered with Roscoe was he had some internal parasite issues, intestinal parasite issues, and so specifically hookworms. So when we got him off the track, we went ahead and did a fecal sample and all those things to test for different parasites that he may have, and he did come back hookworm positive. And according to our vet, most greyhounds come off the track with resistant strains of hookworms. And so he had to go through a really rigorous, it was a 3-month deworming process of 3 different dewormers in a very particularly spaced out interval, so that we could get all of the hookworms out of his system. Overall, I think they're pretty generally healthy dogs as far as what I've researched. They have some like funky blood values that are kind of off. Like their creatinine can be pretty different from other dogs, and they also bleed a lot. And they have really thin skin, so they're really sensitive. So right now he actually is coming off of an injury that he sustained just like running around, because they have so much force when they're running because they can pick up so much speed, and so it's easy for them to get injured even if they're not on the racetrack. I mean, he wasn't asked to do any job of any kind, and he still managed to get himself hurt. Obviously, I think there are like quite a few things that need to be changed about the racing industry to make it a little more like comfortable for the dogs, and also obviously just surrounding health issues like the whole hookworm resistant issue. But I think a lot of people like just kind of comment on it and are like, oh, they're being forced to run, or there's like super unhappy, or like they're all abused and everything like that. And I think that, I mean, there are some bad people out there, but I think it's more uncommon than common. I mean, most greyhounds that I've met are so friendly to other people, to strangers, and they're very well handled, and so they're great at the vet, they're great for other people, for strangers. They're always, I mean, Roscoe's always wagging his tail when he meets new people, and so I think that if he was really truly abused, like so many people claim, then that pattern like doesn't really match up with, what people say. I mean, these dogs, they love to run. It's what they were bred to do. They're one of the oldest dog breeds, and they're built for speed, and they're like meant for this. I mean, compared to your average pet, I think it's really interesting that these dogs actually get to participate in something that they were bred to do, versus, your average pet is just sitting at home or like going on a walk once a day, whatever. They don't have that like thing that they're passionate about that they get to participate in.
The most important thing is we do all of this for the greyhound.
He's, very gentle. He always interacts very gently. He's never, ever, ever jumps on people, except when he is excited that someone's coming home from the family.
Some people think it's a huge myth that all the greyhounds want to do, even once they're retired, is run all the time. Well, that is bunk, because they're lazy. They sleep 10, 12 hours a day.
Now that's really his safe haven. He loves his beds. He's a really lazy guy, so he loves that.